Good morning, everybody. We're going to call to order the Board of Commissioners meeting for September 1st at 10 a.m. If you would, please rise if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. At this time, we'll accept any public comment for items appearing on today's agenda. If there's anybody wishing to make public comment, you can do so at this time. Seeing and hearing no one, we will move to the meeting minutes from August 25th, Tuesday.
Motion to approve the minutes from the August 25th Board of Commissioners meeting.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Okay, going into COVID-19 planning and response, do we have anything that we'd like to discuss today on this portion? We do have our grant. Do we want to highlight that now? Okay.
That is the
Super.
report today, is an update on our county relief block grant activity.
Okay. Super, yeah, please.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a good day. Well, I'm really, really happy to report that the application is live, and it went live on August 28th at 8 a.m., and it will be active until September 11th at 5 p.m. Margaret sent out a press release yesterday, and there are some copies by the door if anybody would like copies of that. We also sent out email and text notification to anybody who signed up for that, and I would encourage any nonprofit organizations who are interested, if they also sign up for the email and text notification, as this grant that we currently have now active is only for for-profit entities, and so they could get the application notifications for that. I have been working with Center Foundation on that, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But I'd really appreciate if people go right to the website, to our website, centercountypa.gov. Right in the middle of the page, there is a button to use, and it's the COVID-19 County Relief Block Grant Application for Small Business. And so that will take you right to the landing page. And on that landing page, it has frequently asked questions, and then you can actually preview the application. And through a PDF, you can print it off, and I printed off several in case anybody would like that. I'm very, very happy to report that we have had no glitches, which I'm very excited, and it's all going really smoothly. We have 32 applications completed, and 75 are in progress. So what I'm going to strongly encourage, even though this application process is open through September 11th, please go and apply for this, and because there's opportunities for businesses that really need some help, and the commissioners, the Board of Commissioners are here to help you, so please do that. I did want to also mention that I talked with the Small Business Development Center this morning. I talked to Tim Cohane, the Executive Director, as well as Elizabeth Hay, who's one of their business consultants. They have been outstanding to work with, outstanding partners, and I really appreciate working with them. They said that they've only have several questions that have come in regarding the application, because they are our technical assistants. And just as the Board of Commissioners thought was accurate, restaurants and bars seem to be the organizations who are most in need at the moment. At least that's what the SBDC is telling us, and that they've had some of the questions, and so we probably will be seeing that. And then finally, we'll let you know that tomorrow we're going to be doing some opportunities for people to learn more about the grant, and we've been invited to several entities to talk with their membership. So tomorrow morning, Commissioner Higgins and I will be working with the Downtown State College Improvement District, and then later I'll be working with the CBICC with Commissioner Pipe, And then later in the afternoon, I'll be working with the Center County Industrial Development Authority. These organizations have all requested that we have a question and answer series, and so I'm looking forward to that opportunity to get the word out even further. So very happy to report on that. And I will just finally mention, I mentioned about the nonprofit. This application process is not for, of course, the nonprofit. We decided to do that separately. And I've been working with Center Foundation, with Molly Kunkel, and we're hoping by Thursday we will have some timelines for that, because we're hoping to get that process moving, very quickly along with this. So I do want to thank the team that we've had. We've had a really awesome team internally, Chad Joyce and the IT, as well as Margaret's been outstanding support and help, and the commissioners, and then the SBDC have been awesome. So I think we're all pulling this together. The community's coming together really nicely to help people that, really have some need out there, and this grant money will be a great help. So I thank you so much. Unless if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to take them.
Sure. Any questions for Mary Kay?
I actually have just one, and that is, what's the response been from the governmental entities that you've talked to?
You mean the municipalities?
Yes.
Would I please be able to turn that over to Margaret, because she's been working really heavily on that project.
So recipient agreements were mailed last week to all 35 municipalities. We have 2 signed agreements back already, one from Half Moon Township and one from Phillipsburg Borough. And we've also received several questions inquiring about use of the funds and wanting to make sure that what they're thinking aligns with the requirements of allowable expenditures. So we are seeing interest, but don't have any receipts yet from them.
How about the school districts or any of the
We're-
educational?
I'm working on the numbers on that. We have not given the reports out to the school districts yet at this point in time. Any other questions?
I want to mention that the meeting we have in the morning with the State College Downtown Improvement District will also include the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau membership as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I didn't realize that. Appreciate that.
So yeah, some of their members will be on board too. Obviously, tourism has been very directly affected, and in their case, if someone is in the tourism business, there's no upper limit to the number of employees. So all of them can apply.
Yes, because this application is currently for small businesses 100 or fewer, and I appreciate Commissioner Higgins' clarification on that, unless it's tourism, which can be up above 100 to any number. So thank you for inviting them into that meeting.
You're welcome, no problem.
I just want to clarify, nonprofits are going to be a separate application, or it's a separate program, and is that what you're?
It's going to be a separate application. What we were trying to do was really keep everything very, very clean and crisp. Businesses will be in this process, and then the nonprofits will be a separate application. We're hoping within the next 2-3 weeks is when we're hoping that application. We really wanted to compare, as they say, apples to apples, and we thought it would be best to keep those 2 processes separate.
Okay, Gary, between the program for the small businesses and the program for the nonprofits, although we were supposed to divide the 14.6 million into as many as 7 different buckets, we're putting almost half of that money into support for our small businesses and nonprofits in Center County.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Thank you, Mary
Thank you
Kay.
very much.
Okay, moving on to our contracts, we're going to welcome up Jason Moser, our controller, to discuss a letter of engagement. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, everyone. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good, thank you. I think I have it on now. This is the letter of engagement with Baker Tilly, Virchow Kraus for the annual transportation audit. And that is for fiscal year 1 July 2019 through 30 June 2020. And the cost for this year's transportation audit is $6,695, which is $195 over 2019, which was $6,500. And as indicated, this is a required annual audit by PennDOT to audit the transportation department. So just looking for that to get to the consent agenda and then approved, so we can complete that audit.
Thank you, Jason. Any
Sure.
questions for the controller? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to add the letter of engagement with Baker, Tilly, Virchow, Kraus LLP to next week's consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is carried. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
For our correctional facility purchase, we'll turn it over to Margaret.
Chris Wardenshell, he's not on the phone. Okay, so this item is the purchase of an elevated body temperature detection system from Viper Imaging. The total purchase price is $25,645.50, which includes a 5-year maintenance agreement. And as you recall, when Kerry Hall was here to present funding items to be under a PCCD grant, this item was included. So this entire amount will be funded through that PCCD grant related to COVID-19 related expenditures.
Great, thank you so much, Margaret. Any questions for Margaret on this item?
Yeah, I think it'll help them out quite a bit.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm hearing,
Good to see we're installing equipment at the facility to help improve the safety of the returning citizens, the staff, and all the volunteers at the facility. Yes.
absolutely, okay. We look for a motion then.
Motion to add the purchase from Viper Imaging LLC to next week's consent agenda.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay. All right, next we're going to welcome up Kristen Simpkins to discuss our contract renewal with Power DMS. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning, how are you? I'm good, thank you. I'm here because it's time to renew our contract with Power DMS, which is our document management system that's online and accessible for all our employees, which we provide all of our policies, procedures, notifications, and the correctional facility is currently using it for training as well to cut down on our overtime and training hours. We have requested to add 25 more licenses. Just as we have turnover and transitioning licenses back and forth, we've gotten close to our limit of numbers. So we are requesting to add 25 more, just so we have a little bit of a buffer as we have people come and go, and we're transitioning people. It does retain all the information. We've used it several times within the last year to verify that people have read policies and to document when doing so. So, if you have any questions?
Questions for Kristen of Power DMS? Hearing none, we look for a motion.
Motion to add the contract renewal with Power DMS, Inc. to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion is carried. Thank you, Kristen, very much. We have our quarterly report for the period of July 1st, 2019 through June 30th of 2020, and this would be to approve the quarterly reports for CYS. Would there be a motion to do so?
Motion to approve the Children and Youth Services quarterly reports.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. We have our consent agenda in front of us. Would there be a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve today's consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay. All right, Margaret, anything you'd like to report today?
No administrative report
Okay.
today.
All right, thank you. For our liquid fuels, we're going to be having a presentation from Ann Mesner today to discuss the liquid fuels for 2021. And all you'll need to do, Ann, is flip the switch there to an on position. It's on the side, and it'll be able to click.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. Technology and I don't always get along, so
Oh, you're good.
bear with
Be
me.
a favor.
Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to give you an update on what we're anticipating, what past and future for liquid fuels. And it's that time of year, so I wanted to just highlight what the program is for, construction, maintenance, and repair, and other related expenditures. And it's based on need, impact for safety. That is a item of concern in the county, as well as past contributions. We want to try to distribute it as much as possible. And this is part of the county's local transportation funding program that was approved in 2017. My understanding is these three funding sources are kind of used together when appropriate to provide the best bang for the county's buck. And as a sample project, I just wanted to highlight the Rush Township project. They received over $2 million in the multimodal, PennDOT's multimodal fund for 4 roads, and it was a combination of liquid fuels and fee for local use, just above $140 14,000. So that was really a great use of the funds. I wanted to kind of show what happened last year. We had 26 funding requests as we ramp up for this next round. 2 were found to be ineligible. 22 municipalities made requests, and it was over $1.2 million worth of requests, and we certainly don't get that level of funding. The total allocation last year was almost $196,000, and we were able to use that for these projects. We have a little bit of change left, about $1,500 left. But it's always a little tricky at the end of the year because we're not quite sure what that December allocation is going to be. We did get our June allocation. But also in the past, just to remind you, we also have the ability to use roadmap funding when certain projects are funded. And I'm going to be working with PennDOT this fall to try to see how to use those funds. We haven't used them in the past, so I have a little bit of homework. So our June allocation was not quite $88,000, and we are anticipating to get an allocation in December. I did look last year. We actually got it at the end of November, so that may give us a little bit of time in terms of selecting projects. But I was told that there are some unknowns, and we will get equal to or less than the June allocation. But PennDOT folks could not tell me at this time what that figure would be. The projects that were paid out last year are listed in front of you, and a very busy year last year. I didn't realize how much was going on until put it all together, and roughly $218,000 worth of work was completed last year. So draft schedule, like I had said in the previous meeting, would like to have liquid fuels and fee for local use applications at the same time, so we can see what we can do for municipalities. So today is authorizing, if you're so inclined, and then Friday, September 4th, would be to get those notification letters out to all the municipalities with a deadline of October 30th. This will help the municipalities get through at least one meeting cycle at their respective municipality, so they can make some decisions if they want to pursue it. And then I'll be coordinating with PennDOT on making sure that projects are submitted, are eligible, and look to have a recommendation to you December 1st. And if all goes well, awards December 8th. Any questions?
Thank you, Ann. Any questions, feedback?
Give me a little feedback.
Sure.
I know one of the projects we funded were safety improvements in Pine Grove Mills. Turns out, I think, to have been a very good investment, because now with the Pine Grove Hall restaurant opening there and attracting a fair number of people, I think that was helpful. And then I was at the Naked Egg Cafe in Pine Grove for breakfast on Saturday, and boy, that place was hopping too. So nice to see that things are looking up in Pine Grove Mills, and in part due to county and municipal funding to make the area more pedestrian friendly and safer for residents. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Ann. Well, thank you very much. So what we would be looking at is we'd be looking at having this come back to us, it looks like in December. So we would see you in exactly 3 months. But we would look for a motion to authorize if you wouldn't mind just going back one slide, Ann, to looking to authorize authorize solicitation of the fee for local use and liquid fuels programs today.
All right, shall I make that motion?
Sure, please.
All right. Motion to authorize solicitation of fee for local use and the liquid fuels program to the municipalities of Center County.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on that? Hearing none, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, thank you again, Ann. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day.
You too, thank you. Okay, moving on to our check run, Commissioner Higgins.
Yes, substantially smaller than normal check run of $846,521.49. The check of the week is to St. John Lutheran's Church, and I think it's End Preschool, because the check is for $1,350 to cover childcare expenses. But did want to say that it's a very nice facility. It's several blocks behind the Burger King off of Bishop, and I've attended various services, memorial services, and Eagle Scout Court of Honor there. So great group of people running that facility, and thanks again to all of our child care workers in Center County who are helping our working parents get out there and earn a living. So would like to make the motion to approve the check run dated August 28th.
We'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the check run. Any further discussion on the check run? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. Okay, and Commissioner Dershowitz, over to you.
Okay, we have a total of 109,035 registered voters in Center County as of this morning. That's up 164 from our last report. We have 45,933 Democratic registrants, 148 Green Party. The Libertarian Party is 681. No affiliation, 14,702, and the Republican Party has 43,123 voters, which leaves all others at 4,448. Now, I'm down into the independent section now, and my first minor party that I'd like to highlight in that section is the IND. I think they were trying to abbreviate independent, I presume. IND period, actually, is how it's, and there are 2 registered voters. But if you are an independent voter and you actually wrote it out, there are 1,392. So there's actually quite a few not no affiliation, but actually independent voters. So I'd like to recognize the 2 IND period voters today. So now we also have a precinct report. That's Walker East, precinct number 83, that votes at the fire hall, the Walker Township Fire Hall in Hoopersburg, and the number of registered voters in the last election was 948. There were 393 ballots cast, which leaves a voter percentage turnout of 41.46%. And we want to thank the fire company for allowing us to use their facility, and look forward to seeing you in 60-plus days. So the folks that make it happen, though, in Precinct 83, the judge of elections is Judy Seymour. The minority inspector is Linda Stover. The majority inspector is Diane Heckman. The clerks, I should say, are Kelly Berkey, Patricia Zimmerman, and Eileen Kramer. So I want to thank their help, and I guess we'll see them in just a couple of months. So there you have it.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Margaret, any executive sessions to report today? Okay. If there's any questions from the press, we will answer them at this time.
The county has separate housing programs, right? Any idea, impact on if the moratorium for evictions, which the governor is speaking right now about, if that is, what kind of impact that will have on housing programs? Have you heard yet? Have you talked to any of the folks in the county that deal with that?
So we had, up until yesterday, the application was available for the rental relief program. And so we're still processing those applications and getting them into the Pennsylvania Housing and Finance Authority to process and get them. So the more applications we were able to get through that process, the less amount of evictions we're going to see. But there hasn't been any formal study or formal look at how that's going to be affecting individuals. If we would see the cases rise from our call center at the Center Helps, if we see it through the Adult Service Office, that would allow us to be able to reallocate resources. But we did have that $2 million available for rental relief, but we also have about $100,000 available through HUD for other rental programs. So the hope is that through those two projects, having the application out for several weeks for the rental relief, that people were accessing that and using that. But time will tell, so we'll see.
I read an article from the Lancaster area actually last evening, and one of the comments that they made about this very subject, and one of the comments is a lot of the folks that are facing eviction were facing that problem back in March, and so this is a carryover from that. So they were unclear as to exactly how dynamic the problem has become since the March period, but they said a lot of those evictions were carried, at least in Lancaster County, were carried over from the February and March time period. So I think there's enough programs right now if people are hurting that they can seek help. So I don't know that we're in an urgent need at this point, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, hopefully between all of these state and federal programs, as Commissioner Dersham mentioned, money is available. People should, I think, primarily contact our adult services, but I believe Housing Transitions and State College can also assist people as well.
There is a hard deadline, though, for that, correct? It is like, once you hit that cutoff, the funding's gone in terms of your ability to get it, correct?
So there's two options. The rental relief program, that ended yesterday, applications. If we have money left over, there could always be a second round if the state okays it, so that would be terrific. But from the HUD money that we have, there's no, that's I want to say next year there's that deadline, so we've got enough time to spend that and allocate that.
And I know we spoke about this a number of weeks ago, but in Center County, the idea that this was something they were going to look into in terms of students who maybe their parents are struggling financially, but they were a co-signer, for example, on the lease or somebody to that effect. Where does that situation, do we know where that lies right now in terms of that a student's ability, because of if the parents financially, in trouble, would they be able to get relief?
Whenever somebody would reach out to me regarding that, I would say apply. Doesn't hurt if you apply and see what it is, but we don't want to make that determination now. We'll allow the application process to go forward. The best thing to do is to apply. So I think the question would be, once we get a list of all the individuals and entities that received funding, we can take a look at that and see who got it, who was made available of it. And so if we're seeing apartment complexes that may be a traditional student housing or whatnot, but I think when we release that and put that out there, that'll help to answer that question.
What kind of daily updates, whether it's Department of Health, Penn State, the hospital, there's concerns here in Center County of the increase in COVID cases just in recent days. Are you in daily contact, you as the commissioners in daily contact with various agencies monitoring?
We have a routine call with contact tracing in the north central region that our administrator Margaret Gray participates in, and that is very helpful to understand how many cases they've been tracking and what the increase would be week over week. But we do have a call that we're going to be jumping on tomorrow to get an update from the Department of Health in terms of various metrics that have increased over the last several weeks. But I think the key thing is we just want to be made aware of that, that their perspective on things. We don't have a county health department, as you've heard us say a number of times, so they really will have the data and the analysis and be able to let us know when there's, again, increases in each of the metrics that they're looking at. So that'll be a good opportunity for us to learn a little bit more about what they're seeing.
Yeah, I'm sure this was discussed at the front end. Just really quick checking in. I know the release was sent out on the relief grant funding, that the applications are now available for that. But it's anticipated there will be additional rounds of that. Is that correct? More than one round of funding at this point?
I think what we've said is if there's money available at the end of the grant round one, that we would consider additional rounds. But I think the focus now is assisting businesses that are applying and seeing how many we have at the end of the deadline and going from there.
There's probably only going to be one application round, Evan. So please apply between now and the 11th of September, because if you miss the application window, you may not be eligible for any future rounds of anything. So please
Only one actual application, even though if you don't get it the first time around, you won't be able to apply a second time?
The information's not going to change,
Yeah.
is
Right,
what
okay.
we're indicating.
Right.
Yeah, so please apply now. You may or may not receive funding in the first round or two, but to reopen up applications is going to be a substantial amount of additional work. So please apply now.
How many you've gotten so far?
Yeah, Mary Kay mentioned that we've received 32 completed applications as of this morning, 75 more are in process. We're hoping to receive maybe closer to 1,000. I'm told the application process, gathering the documents and everything, runs about an hour and a half. And it's very, very similar to other programs that have already been out there. And to continue to clarify any misperceptions, if you received any federal money, PPP grants, EIDL grants, CDFI money, please apply anyway, because there will be the second round of funding, maybe in later October, where businesses that did receive federal and state money can also receive the county money as well.
Or deadline for that too?
It's the same application program, yes.
Is there still flexibility in how that money might be distributed? In other words, once you get the applications in, you're surprised that one group has a boatload more applications, you would say maybe you ought to put more money there, or are you set now in terms of?
Well, we're looking at it as an entire pool. I know initially we had discussed potentially assisting restaurants and bars, but then the details started to make that a very complicated situation. So we decided as a board to say, you know what, one round of applications for all small businesses in Center County with the same sort of metrics. So we're not saying we're going to give X amount of dollars to restaurant and bars and X amount of money to manufacturers and X amount of money to high-tech companies. It's one pool, and we'll be utilizing the assistance of the Penn State Small Business Development Center to give us recommendations in terms of how much, roughly how much money each business should receive.
Ultimately, at the end of the grant period, by the end of the year, we want to distribute the entire amount of money. We don't want to send any back. We want to make sure that if it doesn't go to the businesses, it'll go to the nonprofits. It'll go to local school districts or governments or local healthcare facilities. And that's what our hope is, we can distribute every dime.
Thank you.
All right. We have no further business, and we do not need to go into executive session. Will there be a motion to adjourn at this time?
Motion to adjourn at 10:32.
Second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thanks.